everyone, and welcome to or welcome back to Stitches Past 5. My name is Vera, and on this channel I like to share anything that's going on in my knitting or in my crocheting life. And today I thought I would do a little bit more of a fun video, but one that's hopefully also helpful. And I'm going to rank every single yarn that I used in 2024. So I have knitted a bunch of things, I have crocheted a few things this year, and as a yearly wrap-up I thought it would be really fun to kind of review all the yarns and rank all the yarns that I've worked with. Some yarns I only worked with once, some yarns I continued reaching for again and again. I have this ranking system, so I'll quickly kind of like explain the ranks, I guess. So starting with the top is A star, so this is pretty self-explanatory. This is like chef's kiss, will use over and over again, perfect, like nothing wrong with this yarn, it is perfect. The longevity, as far as my experience goes, is good. There's just nothing to complain about here. Then we have A, which is good, but maybe, you know, some things are not prevent it from going into the top tier. So A is like still really good, like I like this yarn, I love this yarn, I'll work with it again over and over, and yeah, but there is some things here or there that maybe don't let this yarn go into the A star category, or maybe it's just a personal preference thing. Then we have B, which is good. B probably means that there are a thing or two that I dislike about this yarn. I will probably work with it again, but yeah, I mean, yeah, what more is there to say about a B? It's like, yeah, it's okay, it's good, but it's not like amazing. Then we have C, which is like, yeah, it's okay, like if I have to, I'll work with it again. Will probably stay clear of it, but if I have it lying in front of me and a project I want to make out of, then I'll probably use it again. D is probably will not use again, like dislike it. Either the price does not match the quality, or I'm just really disappointed with it. Maybe the longevity is really bad. And E is the bottom tier, like I do not want to look at this yarn again. I don't want to like feel it again. I don't want to see it again. Now, of course, all these ranks are my personal experience, like this is just how I've worked with them and the items that I've made with them, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm not really sure how strict I'm gonna be just yet, so stay tuned. But yeah, I'm gonna start with like the main like sweater yarns, then I'll move on to like cotton yarns, and then I'll move on to sock yarns, just to give it a little bit of a structure. And yeah, again, my experiences, don't want to upset anyone or any brands or anything. A yarn that I dislike doesn't mean that you're gonna dislike it, but I will try my best to explain why I really do or don't like a specific yarn. I'll also leave down below what rank I ended up giving every yarn, where I purchased it, and if I remember like how much I purchased it, and where relevant, I'll leave some links down below as well. Okay, so let's get started. This is, by the way, in no particular order. I've just kind of taken pictures of my yarns, like clipped it out, and now I'm gonna drag it onto my little grid. And yeah, this is a no time order, no preference order, no nothing. I just kind of grouped them into the three categories, so sweaters or normal yarns, I guess, then cotton yarns, and then sock yarns. So here we go, what do we have first? Okay, here we go. I'll put it on the side for now, but essentially this is the first one. This is actually the sweater I'm currently wearing. It's made out of this yarn. I wish I had a name for you, but I do not. This is let me try my best to translate from Latvian to English, because I do not speak Latvian. So I guess it's Merino, 56% Merino, 28% Cashmere, 6% viscose, and 10% polyamide. So this is a yarn that I purchased in a yarn shop in Riga. We were on a trip there and I purchased this yarn. So hopefully, there we go. You can see that this is it's a DK bordering on worsted, like pretty thick yarn. and I essentially just wanted to buy a yarn that will make a sweater, and that's exactly what it did. I don't have a name for it, but it is from the shop Woolly in Riga. And I adored this yarn. This is such lovely yarn. This is actually like, the sweater is my partner's and he wears it all the time. It's not really scratchy at all, although it has a high merino and it even has a cashmere like element of it. The gauge, I mean, I keep my gauge swatches, so my gauge swatch here is 17 stitches on 4.5mm needles, and I just love this yarn so much. There's not much wrong with it, like, truly. So I think this one, whatever it may be called, I don't know if it even has a name. I will try to find a link for you online because I can only recommend this, and they do ship, at least in Europe. I'm not sure if they ship like more internationally, but I can only recommend this. So this is like, we're starting off with a great one because this is gonna go straight to the A-star category. So it's going right up there. Yeah, so the price of this was around 91 euros for 900 grams. So I guess around 10 euros for 100 grams, which I think is a really fair price for a merino cashmere blend, which is also why it's going in the A-star category. So big fan of this. Yeah, like, I don't have much bad things to say about this. By the way, if you're using the sweater, the lady in the shop sold us a 900 gram spool, which is why we still have this much left. This sweater, which is a men's medium, took 480 grams to make. So probably didn't need the 900. Happy I got it though, because ordering it would have been a bit tricky. But yeah, so the Riga woolen yarn takes the A-star spot right off the bat. Okay, the next one is the Mechita Arroyo yarn. So this is what my ball looks like. This is a merino, superwash merino yarn, and the suggested needle size is 3.5mm, and the gauge is like 23 stitches ish on 10 centimeters. And yeah, this is not a budget yarn, let's put it that way. I think this is around 14, 15, 16 euros for 100 grams. And yeah, I like this yarn. I think it's nice. These are like some things that I've made with it, so I think the stitch definition is really nice on these. This is just a pair of gloves. What else is there to say about this one? I think I'm gonna put it in an A tier because I like it, but I'm not yet like head over heels for it. Like, I will buy this again, I will work with this again. It is a little bit more on the pricey side, so yeah, that's why I guess it's going in the A tier, not in the A-star tier. So there we go. The Malabrigo Arroyo yarn takes the A category, which I think is justified. I think that does this yarn justice. Okay, next we have the Bluefaced Leicester fleece. If you've been following my channel lately, I've been talking about this yarn a lot because I'm currently making a sweater out of it. So here you can hopefully see the stitch definition. It's quite clear. On 4.5mm, this gives a gauge of 20 stitches. So it is your typical DK weight yarn, I would say. Bit on the heavier DK weight size, I guess, but yeah. This yarn I'm also a big fan of. I'm not sure yet how scratchy it's gonna be long-term wear-wise, but from what I've felt, and like I've been working with this, right? Like I mean, we've tried this on as well and everything. It's not really scratchy at all, which for 100% wool yarn, that is wonderful. So far I'm giving it like the benefit of the unknown, and I'm gonna say that this is not scratchy. It's like pretty soft actually. So that goes into the factoring. Then the next thing is the price. A 100 gram skein of this yarn has a price point of around, where I live, between 13, 14, 15 euros, depending on where you get it. So it is like a little bit like, I'd say that's a normal price for yarn. It's not super expensive, it's not like super cheap, it's not, you know, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy so much of it because it's affordable at the moment. But it's just, I think that's a pretty standard price of yarn. It is a British fleece or British wool, so yeah. So I'm also gonna put this in the A category just because yeah, there's not much to dislike about this yarn, I guess. I wouldn't say it's like a star just because, yeah, I think it's just like a standard yarn, like where the Riga yarn, like this one is like kind of fun and interesting and like has cashmere in it and was not that expensive. This one is, you know, just wool at a normal price. It does come in like various colors, but for that reason, I'm putting it in the A category. Next, we have another Malabrigo yarn, and this is the Malabrigo Mechita in the color, I mean, I have it in the color Wales Road. Same as the other one, it is a 100% superwash merino yarn, and yeah, it's pretty similar to the Arroyo, I would say, except that this one, like the stitches, like it's just a little bit thinner. So I guess this actually borders a sock yarn. I didn't include it in the sock yarn because it doesn't include any like polyamide like nylon to make it stretchy. And yeah, I liked working this. I think what is really beautiful about this yarn is that it's a hand dyed yarn, so that you get the nice like marbling structure. So that's really pretty. It is a little bit more pricey. I think I paid £18 for this, so British pounds, so like around 20 euros for 100 gram skein, which I think is quite a lot. But then again, it's hand dyed yarn. It is gorgeous. It was lovely to work with. If you're okay with superwash merino, I know some people are not, then I would definitely recommend this. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna put it like, maybe I don't know where to, part of me is like, I want to put it in the B category because it washed out so much. This lost so much color after blocking. So I think I'm gonna put it in the B category because of that, but that's like a very strict judgment on my side. But I guess something's gotta go in the B category too, right? Like I can't just love every yarn. Yeah, but I think the main reason for this being a B category yarn is its price, and then it lost so much color after blocking. It also grew a lot after blocking, so keep that in mind. Next yarn we have is the Drops Nepal. There we go, there it is. So this is the Drops Nepal. It comes in 50 gram skeins, and I think the price was around €3 for this, or was it? Yeah, I think it was around €3. So yeah, it is a pretty, like a thicker yarn, so I'd say it's like a worsted weight yarn. I think my gauge, or the suggested gauge here, 17 stitches. I think I got it to 18 or something when I was using this yarn. I don't know, there's not much to dislike about this yarn. It's very fluffy, it's very like soft, it doesn't feel too itchy, although it is like a wool alpaca blend. So yeah, I haven't worn this yet, so I'm still like in the process of using this yarn, so I don't have too much to judge here, but I'm just gonna give it an A tier because a budget yarn that's wool, that's not scratchy, that has like the very robust look and feel, like this looks gorgeous, doesn't it? And it's like very soft and like nice to the touch. I'm gonna give it an A. Like it's sounds pretty good to me. Like I'm really enjoying working with it so far because it just feels nice. It works up pretty quickly because it is a bit of a thicker gauge. And yeah, so that's the Drops Nepal. Also got an A grade. Okay, the next yarn we have is the Friends Kid Silk yarn by Hobbii. And this is a blend of mohair, silk, and wool. So 72% mohair, 25% silk, and then 3% wool, I believe. Yeah, so this is kind of like your mohair-esque yarn. I bought this to make a sweater. I held 2 strands double. And I think the thing with mohair is like, it's in so many patterns that I get is like hold together with mohair. And I'm like, I'm not made out of money, so I'm not gonna like do that all the time. And on the other hand, like, it's also very like fluffy. Like I have one sweater out of this and like, I'm just eating mohair at this point, right? So like, I don't know if it's like a trend holding everything with mohair. That's besides the point. So this is a like mohair silk yarn, and it's good in theory, like a mohair silk blend, but I will say that this is like pretty scratchy and it loses a lot of fluff. So I'm going to put this yarn, I think I'm gonna give it a C tier for a multitude of reasons. The first one, price-wise, you can't say anything because I think one skein of this like between €6 and €8, depending on like how many you buy on the website. And I think for a mohair yarn, that's pretty good. That being said, if I'm gonna buy mohair, if I'm gonna spend a lot of money on a yarn, I want a yarn that's not super scratchy and that's like nice. And with this, I just find that it's so, I don't know if you can like see the halo, but like it loses so much fluff. I find this literally like everywhere when I'm wearing the sweater, and it's also not that soft. So see, it is, I'm sorry, French silk. I mean, I do still have a lot of skeins, so I'm gonna, you know, still use it and hold it double in the sweater that I'm planning on making, but next time I will definitely splurge a little bit, spend a little bit more money on a mohair yarn that is hopefully a little bit nicer than this one. So I hate to say it, but this one gets a C. Okay, then the next one, and this is one that has like always a lot of contention around it. It is the Drops Air. Oh, this is, I did a review of this and like a lot of people have a lot of opinions on Drops Air, which is fair enough. So I'm gonna give like my personal, like, you know, rundown of it. Price wise, this is lovely. Like, this is a really affordable yarn. I think for around, I'm gonna say 3.50 to 5 euros max for one skein, which is 50 grams, but it runs really far. This runs literally 150 meters for 50 grams, which is really, really far because it's a blown yarn. And the gauge is around, what is this? 17 stitches by 22 rows, but I've also done that with like 21 stitches by in 10 centimeters. So it's a very versatile yarn. That being said, the skeins sometimes are uneven, so it scrunches up and then you have to like cut that part out and you can't use it because it's literally just, I guess there's like a blowing error or like a manufacturing error in the yarn. Then the next thing is that it's very like, I don't know, it's very fluffy, if that makes sense, which is good, I guess, but it starts pilling after a while. I mean, we have a lot of like, I made a lot with this, and it starts pilling and then it just doesn't look that even, the stitches. It also depends on the color. So like I find that the darker colors actually, they have a longer lasting like nice visual effect than the lighter colors. But yeah, so many pros and cons to this yarn. I do love it, that's the thing, like it is so warm. I have a cardigan in this and like I can't wear it inside, it's way too warm, or I'll wear it like on really cold days when the heating is off inside or something. So I don't know where to put this. I'm gonna give it a C tier just because there are so many cons to this yarn. Like, I wish I didn't have to give it a C tier because overall it's a great concept. Like the blown yarn, the warmth of it, like the huge color like variety that you get with it, but there's just so many things that I don't like about this yarn that I'm gonna give it a C. So that's my, I'm already so sorry, like but yeah, I'm trying to be honest here, so I'm gonna give it a C. So moving on to the yarns that are maybe like not your typical woolen like sweater blends. This next one I have here is this. I mean, this is literally all I have left, so this is my gauge swatch that I thought I could show. There we go. And this is from the same yarn shop in Riga, so it's by Woolly Yarn, and this is their linen. Yeah, so it's a really thin unspun linen yarn, and it's literally linen, like it's very coarse kind of to work with, but then once you like wash it, it gets a lot softer. I held it double to make a blouse, and I am in love with this yarn. It wears so beautifully. The drape is gorgeous. Like the drape is your typical like just like very soft, like, you know, linen kind of gives that like hard but soft vibe, if you know what I mean. Like, and yeah, this was lovely to work with. Like, I can recommend this to anyone. I got a t-shirt amount with like a big collar for, I think it was like 15 euros, so like amazing price point. I have not found this yarn on their website though, so I don't know. Like, I wish like I would order more immediately. I just haven't found it yet. So hopefully I'll do another like dive into their website like after filming this and then hopefully find it for you. But it would be such a shame not to find it again because it's a lovely yarn. I think it's 100% linen. It doesn't say, like the inside says nothing. but I'm gonna give it, it's a star for me. If you're looking for like a linen yarn that's perfectly that, this is your like, I just wish there was a link for it. Yeah, I think it didn't really grow or anything. It was like fine to work with. Like linen is never the nicest to work with just because it's like pretty stiff. So I think like I'm also obviously rating this like for what it is, but I think for that it's beautiful. Like I love the color, like a muted blue. And yeah, I held it double because single it would have been like super, it's like a lace weight yarn single, so I guess double was like a sock weight or fingering weight. But yeah, I'm gonna do my best to find it because like I just want more people to experience this yarn. It's lovely. Okay, now moving on to the cotton yarns that I used this year. So I don't have too many cotton yarns because I don't really work that much with cotton. But the first one, it is the Friends Cotton 8/4 Mercerised. So this is the Hobbii home brand, and the 8/4 here, that refers to the thickness of it. So I guess this is the thinnest cotton yarn that they have. And it's mercerized, so it's like nice and shiny. This is like, if you're looking for yarn, like a thin cotton yarn, it's very like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it because the mohair is on top of it all. But it's a very like tightly spun yarn. So it's easy to work with, like really nice for crocheting as well as knitting. No issues with this. Like I made like a bunch of granny squares with this. Here, this is like my granny square crop top, I guess, that I made out of it. And it was like really nice to work with. I think the definition of it is beautiful. The like, here, you can get an idea of it. Price wise, it's also pretty affordable. I think the 50 gram skein is like €2.10 or something. It is a cotton yarn, so if you like cotton, go for it. I'm gonna give it like, I guess an A tier. I'm not the biggest like cotton lover, like I don't gravitate towards cotton, but for cotton yarn, it's great. Like it's exactly what you're ordering essentially. If you want a mercerized cotton yarn, tightly spun, in a variety of colors, like you will not go wrong with the Hobbii mercerized cotton. I haven't tried the other thicknesses unfortunately, so I can't really comment on those, but this one, lovely. And I think wouldn't really use it again for a garment because I think it's a bit like too thin and like gets very thick if you make it tighter, but I think for pillowcases, stuff like that, beautiful, perfect. Then the next yarn is the Drops Cotton Light. So it is this yarn, it is Drops Cotton Light, and it is a like pretty standard like cotton yarn, although it is half cotton, half polyester, so 50-50. And this comes in so many different colors, but I don't love it. I don't love it for many reasons. I crocheted a bunch with this. I've made like a lot of things with this because I just ordered so much of it, which kind of like retrospectively thinking like probably shouldn't have ordered like 110 skeins literally of this. But okay, so the issue I have with this is working with it is not great. Working with it, the yarn splits all the time. It's just like not very tightly like spun, so it like comes apart here, and then you have like half your skein or half your yarn on your hook, half your yarn off your hook. It happened more with crocheting than knitting, I will say. And then also the color dye lots are completely different. So I made like a granny square cardigan out of it, and literally like some of them here, you can kind of see it. I don't know if it'll show on camera, but this and these are like two different dye lots, and this is just like a very brownish yellow and this is a very like orange yellow. Like, I don't know, maybe if you don't know, you don't notice it, but if you know, you see it, if you know what I mean. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I mean, love how this turned out, and I love wearing it because it has like a nice like weight to it. It's, I don't know, so maybe it's just a matter of getting through like making the piece with this yarn and then you're happy, because like I'm so happy with this cardigan and like I have no issue with like wearing it because of the yarn choice I made, but I'm not happy working with this like ever. Like I've made so many things with it and I've not been happy with any of the items that I've made with it. Knitting is better, so yeah, maybe it's just a matter of that. Price point, literally like one of the cheapest yarns I've ever seen. So like I can pay like 90 cents or €1 for one skein of 50 grams, or maybe 120 depending on like the sale I was shopping. So price, like amazing, can't say anything. But because of that, I'm putting it in the D category. Like, I make clothes because I like the making aspect of them. I don't make clothes because I need something to wear. Like, if I needed something to wear, I can go to a shop and buy it, right? So like with this yarn, like I love wearing it, that's not the issue, but like I need to enjoy the making aspect of it. And yeah, I think other yarns just do a better job. I think because it is a blend between cotton and polyester, it is like a little bit more durable, which is nice, I guess. But other than that, I find like hard to kind of like excuse about this yarn. Price point aside, I'll pay more, like if I enjoy making it more. I think the splitting is what really got on my nerves. Like I was really frustrated at points because the yarn split every single stitch. It was a struggle. Can't see any of it now, but anyways, let's put the cotton light aside. Okay, now the next yarn, I guess now is the sock category, but the next one is like a sock yarn without nylon. So I'm putting it in the sock category. It doesn't have the stretchy factor. This is the Drops Alpaca. I got a lot of Drops yarn just because I like it. I like the different like ones that they have. So this is the Drops Alpaca, and it is a really thin, like very, very thin alpaca yarn. This one is 50 grams, 167 meters, and the gauge is 24 stitches, but I actually think the gauge is way bigger. Like, yes, you can get to 24 stitches, but like, if you want like nothing too see-through, it'll be closer to like 27, 28 stitches is my guess. This yarn is a soft yarn, but it does get itchy after a while. Like it's a soft like wool to the touch with your fingers. I have a hat out of this and the hat does itch me after like a few, like anything longer than like 20 minutes, I have an itchy head. I do love the hat. I wear that like every single day, but it is a little bit itchy. So if you're sensitive, I'm not super sensitive, so like I'm fine with it, but if you're sensitive, like maybe not for you. I bought this yarn in Oslo and I think one skein was around 40 kroner, so I think around maybe one skein like €4. Of course, Oslo is a little bit more expensive, so I guess you can get it for a little bit cheaper in most other places. But yeah, this is 100% alpaca, and I don't know, I'm trying to think right now what I'm gonna rate this yarn, because like, I mean, it's good, like it's super warm. So I made this out of it. This is like a tank top with like a lace at the bottom, and this is actually the yarn held double, so you can kind of see the stitch definition. But I have yet to wear it because it's too warm. Like I don't make a summer top out of a alpaca yarn, I guess is the moral of the story. But yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't make socks out of it because it is pretty fragile. Like it's very easy to break and there is no nylon content, so I wouldn't say it's a sock yarn. I don't know, I'm gonna give it a C category just because, I don't know, if it's there, I'll work with it again, but like I don't think I'll go out and buy it because like I would have to hold a double, and I don't know, it's fine. Like there's nothing too like special or like bad about this yarn. Like it is pretty itchy, so that's why it's also going in the C category. And yeah, it's a very thin yarn, but it's not a sock yarn, so if that's your vibe, maybe this is for you, but like I don't think I'll be going out to buying it anytime soon, to be honest. Okay, then moving on to sock yarns. I have a few sock yarns, but like they're pretty similar, most of them. The first one is the Friends sock wool by Hobbii. These come in 50 gram skeins, which is not very typical for sock wool. Sock wool usually comes in 100 gram skeins, or at least the ones I've used. And this is like Hobbii saying, okay, we'll make some sock wool. We've made sock wool, here it is. Like it's really, to me, I made a pair of socks out of these. Like there was nothing special. I think the colors on the website are a little bit different than the colors that show up. I can't really describe how. Like I bought a beige and then it was like a little bit like a pinkish hue to it. And it is like a bit scratchy, which I think is fine for sock wool, but like it is a very coarse sock wool. So yeah, it is a bit like on the scratchier side, like it's pretty coarse. And I also don't love that it comes in 50-gram balls. Like, I don't know if I ordered this thinking it was a 100-gram ball, but yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I'm gonna put it in, I guess I'll put it in C category because yeah, I wouldn't go out and buy it again. There's nicer sock yarns out there, let's put it that way. Okay, so the next one is the Meilenweit, which is like a regular sock yarn. I got this online. It is by Lana Grossa, which I think has been around for like a really long time. This is also like a pretty standard sock yarn. It feels very sturdy. Like this feels like it's a good sturdy sock yarn. I've worked with this. It works fine. Like it's, yeah, it has a gauge of 28 stitches and 10 centimeters and comes in 100-gram balls. And yeah, I mean, it's your standard sock wool, so I'm gonna put it in B tier because it's exactly what you would expect. I say with this, like I wouldn't like go to a shop being like, I need this brand, because it's not like, oh my god, it's amazing compared to other sock wools, but I think at a price point of €6 per 100 grams gain, you really can't complain. Like this is lovely. It is 75 or 80% wool, 20% polyamide for the little stretch in the sock wool, which I always try to go for. But yeah, that's the Meilenweit. Now the next one is relatively similar. It is the Regia, whatever, by Schachenmeier. So Schachenmeier, also like one of the really old, I guess, German brands. And yeah, this one is like, again, your regular sock yarn, I guess. I like that it's like a little bit marbled. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just like a little bit of an interesting texture here. And yeah, this again has 30 stitches in 10 centimeters. It's like a little bit thinner, but truly I think it's the same one as the Meilenweit one. And yeah, it's 4-ply. I think I bought this one in store for around €8.50, so it's a little more expensive, but I'm sure like online it would be comparable to the other sock wool that I just showed. So that's also going to go into the B tier because yeah, like I said, it's kind of exactly what you expect. But it's not like, oh my goodness, every other sock I have to make is gonna need to be Regia, like Schachenmeier wool. It's good. It's good yarn. Like I would definitely recommend it. The last yarn I have here is another 4-ply sock yarn. So it is the Opal yarn. It looks like this. It's by Die Sinne für Stricken. So I guess I bought this like on a Austrian, German, whatever website. Yeah, this is also 100-gram ball. Again, the price was around €6, €6.50 for 100 grams. And the gauge is 30 stitches in 10 centimeters. And the composition here is 25% polyamide and 75% wool. Again, I'm putting this in the B tier because it's exactly like what you expect. Like I think like these 3 sock wools, I don't see a big difference between them. Like I've combined them in socks as well. To me they're like, I think if you took the tags off, I could not tell you which one is which by just the brand, which I could probably do with most of the other wools, just because like they're very distinct and they're very, you know, different. But these 3, in my eyes, to be honest, are all pretty similar. Okay, so now we have my tier ranking of all the yarns, all the wools I used in 2024. It's been a pretty good year of yarn, I'd say. I can see that like the A star all comes from Riga, so I guess if you're looking for really good wool, go to Woolly, the yarn shop in Riga. And yeah, it kind of goes down. I think I was pretty fair in my rankings. And yeah, I think anything above a B I would recommend. I think with a C there'd be like a bit of a asterisk of like, if use it but kind of. and then the D I would not recommend, and the E stayed empty, which is also kind of nice. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my rankings. I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe, like this video if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care until then. Bye.